So yeah, I'm a 3D artist. I make 2D as well, and maybe I pay too much attention to the hardware and the tech I use because I have my regular setup, which is really great. But I was looking for a portable version, and something that I used to have was the a mini PC with a USB cable that was capable of video output, more like video output, and I was able to connect it to my mini PC to the drawing tablet I have, um, add a keyboard, and that's all the setup I used to use. I don't have that one anymore. I have to give away the mini PC, so I was looking for something weird to try on because I came across this thing called the Project Renegade. Maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. It was a long time. I recently checked the website and it's all different, so it's been a while. This project basically allows you to install Windows on ARM on many devices, many Android devices. Um, the one device people seem to use a lot for this project is the Pocophone F1 because it's the one with the less issues, and the import and stuff usually works. So when I came across a Pocophone F1 when looking at the marketplace, the Facebook marketplace, I was like, fuck, I gotta get with this one. I have to get this somehow. So I contact the seller and he ghost me. I was unable to get the phone. So yeah, I forgot about it. Forgot about it until a few weeks ago when I was like really in need of a portable device for some situations I'm facing right now. And I was looking at the Lumia equivalent of that project. Well, it's not really an equivalent, but it has the same goal, which is installing Windows on ARM, but this time on a Lumia. More specifically, the Lumia 950 and the 950 XL. So I checked the website and the instruction were kind of straightforward. I reviewed the stuff and it was fairly easy. So I got the phone with the idea of using it as a portable drawing station, pretty much replacing the mini PC with the Lumia, which is a lot of advantages, a lot of upgrades because not only I have a battery for emergencies or something, maybe the I have a power outage and my stuff is unsafe. I have the battery on this thing. It lasts an hour, but it's more than enough to save stuff. And also the portability is way better because it's literally a phone. So that was my plan to replace the mini PC with a Lumia 950 with Windows on ARM install. I didn't do my homework. I didn't research enough because I came across so many issues, so many stuff. Everything's fucking wrong because the community, the one that I thought was not going to let me down. I was not confident, but I was hoping that maybe the community had some offline tools for these devices that these unsupported devices since 2020, and they do, but the way of getting them is so obscure that it's basically dead. So yeah, the installation is quite straightforward, as I said before. You just unlock the bootloader as you do any other Android phone. You get an ISO with Windows on ARM. You download another piece of software called the Windows, I believe it's called Windows on ARM Deployer, which is specifically made for the 950 and 950 XL. So you put your ISO on that piece of software, connect your phone, let it run, and after a while, you are greeted with the setup screen of Windows. That's literally the whole guide. But the details, man, the details. First of all, to unlock the bootloader on this phone, you have to first get the firmware files for the model you have, whether it's the 950 or 950 XL. It seems like there's not much of a difference between the two. Maybe one is bigger and that's it, but they have a different SoC, so the difference is quite substantial. So yeah, I got the firmware for the 950 in the sketchiest way possible, because this tool called Windows internals, I believe, Windows Phone internals, used to be able to detect your phone and download the corresponding firmware for it. The corresponding firmware for it. But since the servers are long dead, it's not working anymore. So you're 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 fucked, basically. That's what I thought. I thought that fuck, this is not working. Maybe I failed at this. It's too late, maybe. But thank God I was able to load the files myself into the software. Thank God they allowed you to have that option, because otherwise I wouldn't be talking about this. Yes, I had the option to upload the files. Now, how do I get the files? Well, after searching for like 5 minutes, I found a Reddit user with the same exact issue as I have. The top response was something like, yeah, don't worry, same here. You can download the firmware for this phone on this website. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Turns out the website, it's like the equivalent of going into a corner that's, I don't know, infested with drug dealers or something, because with syringes on the floor and, whatever sketchy place you can imagine, that's what that website looked like to me. Because there's, first of all, there's nothing but an HTML message saying something like, yeah, if you want to access the files, you have to send an email to this. You have to send this code, which basically look like a Bitcoin wallet, to this email. I was thinking to myself, maybe this is a scam. Maybe I'm getting dropped out of my email, but didn't make sense. How are you going to get scam from sending an email? I know you can get scam or, identify or hack by receiving an email, but sending it, that didn't make sense. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I will send the email. And sure enough, the next day, I got a confirmation that I was granted access to the website. And when I loaded again, I was presented with all the Windows Phone models and their firmware. So yeah, I look my model up, put it on the Windows Phone internals, and unlock the bootloader. Thank God, it was that easy. Now moving on to the Windows Windows Phone deployer, things were a little my fault. This is not a community issue. It's not a Microsoft issue. Um this is me being a dumbass. I'm not reading because in the guide it says very clearly that you have to go to this specific website, choose any ISO you want to use, and download the ARM 64 version. Turns out I downloaded something else, something that was like the AMD's whatever version, which is, I don't know. And then when I was putting the ISO on the deployer tool, I kid you not, it didn't work because it was the incorrect ISO. And I tried it for maybe a day and a half. You have no idea how stupid I felt when I discovered that I'd been smashing my head against my wall with this ISO that was basically the incorrect one, and I was feeling so embarrassed with myself. And now I'm embarrassed with you. If if there's anyone listening to this, so yeah, I downloaded the correct one. The procedure is you don't put the ISO directly. You have to open the ISO with WinRAR, extract a file called install.win, and that's the file you put in the deployer. However, well, that's the instruction the guide gives you. But I don't know what happened. It no longer works that way. If you do that, the deployer is not gonna recognize the file. It's gonna throw you some connectivity errors. Doesn't make sense. So I found again on Reddit that the solution is basically navigating to the ISO directory on the command line and use the command line to extract the file. Basically the same thing, but with the command line. Command line. Oh fuck! I cannot even speak. So yeah, you you got the bootloader unlock. The Windows deployer has the correct ISO. You click on deploy. You choose whether to keep Windows Phone or not. That's up to you. You just wait. It's fairly long, maybe 2 hours. That's about what it took for me. And I have a fairly mid-range computer, so yeah, that's what it took. And after that, everything went smoothly until get to the desktop because after the deployer does, perform this stuff and everything is working, and you get presented with the Windows setup and you finish that, the normal thing to expect on a newly installed Windows is that the performance is gonna be crap. Everything is gonna be laggy because there are almost no drivers installed, or the drivers installed are the generic ones, so it's not gonna perform really well. It's very expected for any new Windows installation. So I was um, in no distress when I saw how laggy it was because I thought, well, once I install drivers, this thing's gonna be great. Spoiler alert, didn't. It kept being crappy, it didn't improve almost nothing after installing drivers. Maybe it got worse, I don't know. I was dragging myself across the OS. It was a horrible experience, and I knew right away this thing is not gonna be able to run anything. Even opening MS Paint was a pain in the ass. It was horrible performance. And later I check, turns out this project is really great, and I appreciate it a lot. The people working here is amazing. I could never do something like this. I would like to, but I'm not able to do something like this yet. But however, the the cores are not being utilized fully. There are two cores that are literally sitting there doing nothing. So we got the SoC nerf that's already pretty old. Then we have like 4 or 6 gigs around, which is basically nothing for Windows 11. Yeah, the the lagginess pretty much checks out. Makes sense. So I was like, well, it's fine. I will drag my way into install some drawing software to check the very thing I was trying to do. No, I tried to install Medibang, which is painting software. It's really light, even lighter than Clip Studio Paint, I believe. And I was granted with I was presented with an error claiming that the software I'm trying to install is x86 and was not compatible with my device. And I was like, wait a motherfucking second. Didn't Windows on ARM have this thing, this piece of software that was supposed to translate x86 instruction into ARM so we can run it on Windows on ARM? Like the Prism or the Rosetta Stone on the Apple Silicon, that kind of thing. Windows have the equivalent, and we were able to run it. And it's been a while since that thing came out, and it's very developed by now. And I was like, what the fuck went wrong? So yeah, the very thing I wanted to try was not working, and I was like, well, fuck it, it's fine. I will try the video output capabilities for this USB port. For that, the team behind the Lumia Windows on ARM left a lot of very useful software, which is they have a lot of software for this, but the two I checked was I believe it's called Lumia Check or Mobile Shield or Shell, something like that. That's basically the Windows 10 mobile UI on Windows 11, which includes the back button, the when you are a portrait, you have the back button, the star button, and the multitask button. Everything is presented to you like it's a normal smartphone. You have the time on the right left corner. Looks amazing. It In my head, I was like, well, this should be really great if the performance wasn't this horrible. So yeah, the other tool is the one I use for the USB-C port. They have a lot of stuff to change, and between those things you can change, there's the behavior for the USB port, and it was on some random setting that I remember, and I changed it back to video output, and it worked beautifully. I was able to connect this phone, the Lumia 950 I have, to my Huion 13 tablet. The pen works. The resolution was like kind of weird, but it didn't matter. The image was there. It was working. It was detecting my pen. I don't know if the pressure works, but at that point, I'm fine with anything. So yeah, that's really the only win I have, because after that it didn't work anymore. Yeah, my luck was very short lived because it worked once. Then it stopped working. No matter what I checked, no matter what setting I left the USB thing on, it didn't work again. So yeah, the lesson here is check for other people before you try that kind of stuff because the performance might be like a little bit worse. In my head, taking, I was having this mental image of how some games run on the Pocophone F1, which is the 845, and the one on the Lumia 950 is the Snapdragon 808 for the base version and the 810 for the Excel version. So in my head, it wasn't so far away. So the performance wasn't going to be so far away, but it was. So yeah, I don't know. I don't recommend going blind into a project like this because you're gonna get frustrated with yourself, like I did. And a lot of this is my mistake. I love the people behind this project. I love this stuff. I plan on doing something with the Poco F1 when I get one. I also plan on buying a single board computer for my Google Photos clone project and might include something with, drawing software in it. I don't know. You can run a server and use it sometimes for drawing. I might try something like that because I hate Google Photos. They took my files hostage recently because apparently I don't have space. They took my photos hostage, my emails hostage, my wife hostage, and I want to get rid of them. So yeah, that's will be my next project, I guess. Uh, and that's it. I should focus less on the tech and more on the uh, art kind of stuff, and I will. But for now, that's it. I guess if you listen to all this, you must be like very patient, and I appreciate it. That's it. Take care. Bye.